trying to do is we're trying to give our members and everybody involved a professional voice to elevate Africa and to connect and to promote sustainable focus, not just for business, not just for spa, not just for wellness, but for everybody. We had to promote cross-border trade and to develop the invaluable networking opportunities that we can do. We are a community that supports, educates, and collaborates. And we're not going to ride the wave of wellness for ourselves. We want to lead and we want to make it accessible to all and unite our members. And diversity is our strength. So really great to be together, great to have a coalition together, and great to welcome you, our members, and our two guest speakers, John and Majay, representing South Africa and Nigeria. And let's get on to our talk. Yes, from Africa. Doing Christmas well or doing Christmas differently. I think 2020 is definitely going to be a year that's going to require a whole lot more from us. Social distancing, the mental state of mind and body, the time that we've had to spend together, and now we're going down into more lockdowns all over the world. It's just an honor to be able to talk to two men who've got a fantastic mindset, who phenomenal wellness experts, and who are not only strong, but emotionally well as well. Drop dead gorgeous, I might add. And for those of you who are still looking, single, mindful, fitness both for mind and body, and sharing common goals. So Swa is indeed to have you really, we're blessed to have you here as part of our conversations. And now let's just dive into it and hear what you're going to tell us. Maja, let's start with you. Give us a quick introduction and then tell us two things that nobody knows about you.
Okay, thank you. It's such a privilege to be here talking to you. I'm always so honored to have these engagements and any opportunity to, speak about wellness and what we do or what we're trying to achieve out here. So my name is Majay Aida. I am a wellness coach. Started out more as a fitness coach, but once I started to really sort of tap into the benefits mentally of fitness and applied them to myself, I started to see that there was a real dire need for more wellness professionals here in Nigeria, and really to try to educate people on how to manage their own personal wellness. And my own particular spin on it was to weaponize wellness like a suit of armor, and actually equip yourself and use that on a day-to-day basis. So I started to focus more on mental health, and we launched a corporate wellness service. I figured that the best way to tackle Nigeria and Nigerians was to hit the workforce. So we launched a wellness service a few years back, and that's just grown over the years. And we really focused in on providing a counseling service to corporates in Nigeria. One of the reasons being counseling is highly stigmatized out here. Mental health is highly stigmatized out here. So my mission became to change the narrative on mental health in Nigeria and ultimately across Africa. That's it. C'est moi.
Okay, I just something here for you. Maybe if we can just mute when we're not speaking so we don't have a background, if that's okay with you. Maja, you always put in your posts something very funny, and this particular quote is very funny from you, where you say, "I never break up with my gym. We just seem to work out." I love that. What brought that about?
Well, funny. I can't take the credit for that particular quote. It's something that absolutely resonated with me because I look at fitness as a relationship. a relationship that you have to manage. Like any relationship in life, it takes work, be it a business relationship, be it marital, be it a friendship, anything. It requires you to put in effort, put in work. So I like the idea of relating fitness to a relationship that you have to work on a daily basis. I found that quote super funny and thought it would be a good one to share because it applies to me. I have a dysfunctional relationship with the gym. You know, sometimes it's good to me, sometimes it's okay, but we're never going to break up.
Thank you for that, Manjay. What a nice introduction. So, John, we hand over to you. Your love for Africa has kept you here for 11 years. The last strongman of Africa. Physical strength is really your passion, and you are known as the strongman. But it's coaching others and developing the mental strength and mindset for others to be strong. What are the two things that have contributed to your mental strength that you can pass on to our listeners?
Well, I think one of the first things I have to say is, Celeste, thank you very much for taking this on and for the initiative. I'm really grateful and grateful to be here. Second time around with Manjay, we had a blast the last time. And I think once we get, we're warming up now, but I can assure you when we get warm, you better be ready because we're going to be coming at you from the left and the right. You know, your question was again, sorry?
Sorry, the question was two things that have contributed to your mental strength that you can share with our listeners.
Okay, definitely two things that contribute to my mental strength. I suppose your attitude will always determine your altitude in life. And your attitude is always your own choice. And attitude, so that means that nothing is fixed in stone. And that just by having an amazing attitude, a grateful attitude towards life, an attitude that you can improve a little bit every day, and those daily improvements added up over time, compounded, lead you to a completely different destination. And the other thing I think for me was important is that the people and situations you surround yourself with has been the key thing towards me forging. They say iron sharpens iron. And to be around people, George Washington said, pay any price to be in the company of incredible people. And if you're looking, you know, to look at your life in a different way, if you're looking at a different kind of Christmas, and obviously we want people to, you know, that is going on to 2021. Well, if you want to change your life, you've got to change. And change the people who you surround yourself with, and those who inspire you. Be around those who are already going down a particular road. Because in karate, there's a saying, and I did karate as well as a martial art, and they say, Ishin Doshin, which means from my soul to your soul, non-verbal communication. Now, mind even what we speak is only a fraction of what oozes out of every pore of our body. So for me, these are the things to be an inspiration, surround yourself with others who inspire you. And whatever you have in abundance, to recognize your own gift, and whatever you have in abundance, and for me, it's, I suppose, mental and physical strength. I'm not too sure which one came first, but whatever you have in abundance, that's your thing to give away. And just that in itself is a life-changing experience. And to be able to do that, you know, health is the cornerstone of life. Without health, I mean, wealth is useless, art is inglorious, everything else means very little without health. And yet, we don't prioritize it in our own lives. We deprioritize ourselves. We deprioritize these bodies that we have, and we spend more on vehicles and cars and than what we do on ourselves. So it's really, The moment is great and the time is now, and thank you for taking it on and giving us the platform to be able to speak our truths out to the world.
John, thank you for that. Those are so many great tips, and I think if we just take them all in, gratitude, little steps, and really doing those changes that we can do, it all makes a difference. And I loved your Washington quote, because that's the reason I'm sitting with the two of you. You've motivated me, and especially Marjo with his plank, 30-day plank. Oh my word, that was something else, but we'll come to that a little bit later. Marjo, next question is for you. Your life in the media looks and sounds glamorous, gorgeous. You're a public figure. You're a professional sportsman just from a few years back. We won't say how many. You're a successful businessman. And most recently, you went live with the First Lady's office in Lagos, talking about fitness. What's your secret? There's pressure in being in the public eye. There's always demands on you to put the right image forward, to look well, to show up well, to be positive, to be self-disciplined, to be spot on with what you do. Your mental health obviously has a whole way to help you cope. Tell me, why is exercise and well-being and adapting to your environment so hinged on the whole sport aspect? And what kind of resilience have you been building so that you can perform in any environment where you land? Because we go back to Lagos, you actually were late and you actually did, I think you did the presentation in the park.
Mm-hmm.
Am I right? Okay. Tell us a bit more about that.
That was crazy, actually. So yes, I was. Thank you for your observations, by the way. So I was very fortunate to be asked to give a live coaching session to the Lagos State government, more specifically the Office of the First Lady. So, you know, there's a lot of protocol involved, and it's a very stuffy environment, very formal. You know, I was dealing with various protocol officers. You must be on time. You must do this. You must do that. I had to actually pre-record the entire session and send it to them just in case we had any network failures. So on the day of my live, I actually had a COVID test about an hour before my live. And now a COVID test is not something in this current climate that you can even play with, because scheduling that test was quite an ordeal, and it cost money too. It was for a flight. So I felt I could make it. I was in London at the time, and it was across London. So I shoot off to my COVID test, and I get there, and boom, they delay me. And my live, I think, let's just call it, my live was at 12 p.m. And at 11:45, I'm still sitting in the COVID office having a test. And I'm thinking, my whole career is about to go out the window here, because this is my first opportunity with the state government, and I might not make it. So as soon as I finished, I jumped in an Uber and I'm flying across London to get back to my hotel. Unfortunately, there was traffic, and the traffic was in the middle of Hyde Park. Hyde Park is probably one of the biggest parks in London. And I'm sitting in traffic and I'm thinking to myself, I'm finished. But then I reminded myself of how I got here and what success is to me. I believe that success is about being able to adapt to change. I believe it's about, of course, first and foremost, your own personal happiness, but your adaptability to change as a human being and how you respond to that. It served me well during the pandemic. A lot of people felt like I was ahead of the curve in terms of my business and going virtual, but actually it was something we were already preparing, but it was that preparedness that had us ready for it. So being the prepared person that I like to be, I try to be, I had my tripod with me in my rucksack, because I figured just in case anything happened. So I just told the Uber, stop right here. I'm going into the park. I'm just going to do it wherever I am. It doesn't matter. I ran around, found a secluded spot, and literally went live. But you see, what was amazing about it was that I really didn't key into the mental benefits of me being in a green environment. The light, the sunlight, the greenery effect. I mean, it's been proven that from a mental health perspective, even looking at images of nature can brighten you, can lift you up, right? So having that backdrop, having nature around me actually brought a new energy into their conference and made a huge impact. So, you know, sometimes out of adversity, out of a difficult situation, solutions are found, change happens. And it was one of the best lives I've done. I think I'm going to do a lot more of them outdoors. But yeah, it's part of my own personal culture in terms of just always be prepared, stay ready. And the best way for me to achieve that, I feel, is to be physically strong. Physical strength directly affects mental strength.
Yeah.
You know, and I found this out, I would say the hard way, because as you quite rightly pointed out, being in the public eye, it's a double-edged sword. They can love you, and another day they can turn against you. And when they have turned against me, perhaps in the past, I found strength, I found solace, I found shelter in my own physical strength. I started to train myself more, focused in on that. As I said earlier, focused in on the mental health benefits of that. I really noticed that. I opened a fitness facility a few years back. And when I opened it up, I was so focused on developing the place, I forgot that I would actually need coaches to coach people. So when I opened up, I didn't have any coaches and I had to do it all myself. So I had to be there to open up at 5:30 in the morning, coaching sessions from 6 a.m. in the evening, 6 p.m. right into the night, every day. But over time, waking up every morning, 4:30 in the morning, going to coach, it started to impact my own life.
Yeah.
It started to affect me mentally.
I think, Maja, we're going to touch on the coaching just now. Before I go on to the next question, I just want to bring in a question. I think if we can just mute our mics, everybody, so sure. I can just read out one of the questions from the audience, so we don't have any back drop. In the introduction, I was talking about social distancing and physical distancing, and our new board director, Patrick, has joined us. Welcome, Patrick. We're so happy to have you with us. And he's just made a comment. It is crucial, I guess it is crucial to differentiate physical distancing and social distancing more than ever. We need to avoid social distancing more than ever. We need to also support mental wellness, don't you think? Social wellness is probably as important as physical wellness. So comments on that. John, I think we go over to you.
Okay, great. I love this. I think that, I mean, you know, when we're talking about the mind-body connection, mens sana or corpus sana, the Greeks had the saying, the healthy body, healthy mind. And they're both intrinsically linked, and one has a direct effect on the other. It's often difficult to say which one comes first, but I think there is a difference between you can be 1 meter or 2 meters apart from somebody, but you can still hold conversation and still have that sense of connection. And we need this, it's a human need, this sense of connection. So I really like where Patrick is going with this, and particularly in the you know, the wellness space. I mean, you know, it's a matter of organizing that space professionally and making it as safe as possible. But beyond that, you know, what can you do? I mean, there's a point when it actually goes against your physical well-being. If you go beyond that point, by all means, one should be safe and one should be cognizant of that. But we do need human connection. It's a human need. I think it's like food, water, and the connection with others. It comes in, it's way up in the hierarchy, and it's something that we've got to also prioritize in our lives. So, I mean, getting into a wellness space, you have that space where you're cared for, and people need this. This is the time for I mean, wellness, this is a time for all types of wellness really to stick up their hand and to do, you know, and to really break through and to make a massive difference in the world, actually, and in people's lives. This is our time.
Thank you for that, John. I hope that answers your question. I'm not going to ask you, Maja, because I want to go on to the next question. Otherwise, we're going to run out of time. John, I want to just go briefly into your life story. You had a really tough time growing up. You didn't grow up in a positive era. You had lots of challenges. You had lots of disappointments, but yet you have transformed your life and that of so many, because you've sharpened your mind, you've sharpened your body, you've got tremendous discipline and mental tenacity. And on your webpage, you're quoted as saying, determination outpaced dollars, sweat washed away status. Sport has defined your goals, values, and purpose for making you uniquely excellent. Tell us a little bit more about that.
Sorry, just wait there 1 second. For me, I think, you know, one of the sayings I have, it's always how you respond to each situation. Every situation that we encounter in life, every problem, every difficulty, every day, every human being you meet provides you with an opportunity to really to reach your highest potential in that environment or with that individual, or just stay the same. So life is 10% of what happens, 90% is your response to life. And I think I'm very grateful in ways that I grew up. I mean, you know, my early memories were of abject poverty and violence. And I think that people who experience that can make a tremendous impact on the world, because you are very empathetic to people. You're very empathetic to people's circumstances and situations because you've experienced a lot. And I think through that you can get to understand an awful lot about people. And really, in the wellness space, regardless of the genre, regardless of what our particular, we all bring different things to the table, but let's not ever forget that it's always about how we, you know, what's the saying, that people will quickly forget what you said, but they'll never forget how you made them feel. And that is, you know, I was always aware of that. And that's become a priority in my life. And it's become a priority in my life. I have a goal my goal in my lifetime is to positively impact 1 million people or more. And if you impact 1 million people, everybody else impacts another 200-300. So we sometimes think our own lives are insignificant, that we only have a small pool of people that we can shift or change. And we say, well, why even bother, you know? But actually, every one of us has the potential to change the world and to leave the world a little bit better. And that puts you into a very good space in your head. Just by doing that, puts you into a space. And that puts you into a space like a service, you're like a servant space. Whereas the world we live in now, I mean, it's everybody, it's about the individual, it's about me, it's about, yeah. And if you're just chasing things outside of yourself, you're never ever going to reach contentment, because all contentment comes from that place inside of ourselves, which we know historically and we've read that is there. So, you know, that's a very important part of life. And through, you know, for me, conditioning training, strength training, there are many different types, you name it, but they're all just vehicles, they're all just avenues and portals to you becoming the highest version of yourself.
Great.
And that's really, really high for all of us.
I think so too. John, thank you for that. I think that's absolutely brilliant. And it's amazing how things are just coming together. And like you say, you want to touch 1 million people. I have a friend who wants to do exactly that. And her name is Bridget Edwards, and she has just commented on our Facebook page now. Hi, Bridget. You just said touch is essential. essential to our bonding and to connection with human beings. And I think touch is never going to go away. It's exactly what we need. And I see when I visit my son, the first thing he wants to do is hug. And it's the elbow thing, and he finds it so difficult. So the next question actually leads on from something that I learned from Bridget Edwards. She wrote a book called Stress Gone, and she mentioned two countries, Nigeria and South Africa. In 2016, Nigeria was the most stressed country in the world, followed by South Africa. Sadly enough, Bloomberg has reported, oh, can you hear me?
Sorry, give me 1 second. I just need to grab my earpiece.
Okay.
Just 1 second.
All right. Okay.
I can take it.
Okay, that's fine. So we're talking about stress. So Nigeria has been listed still the #1 stressed out country in the world in February 2020. That was before COVID came. And South Africa, the second most stressed country in the world, according to Bloomberg. So when we start having a look at homicides, lack of income inequality, corruption, pollution, and the life expectancy. Tips on for us to do things well on all levels. And there we come back to the mental, physical, sociological, and financial. 3 tips that we can actually help our listeners to reduce the stress, especially over Christmas. Maybe you don't have a job. Maybe you like so scared about what's actually going to happen. So John, maybe if you can start off with that one, just so Mike can get his breath back.
We shouldn't be scared. We shouldn't be afraid. I think if we were already stressed, they say tough times don't last, tough people do. You know, and if one thing in Africa, you need to be tough to live in Africa. Africa is not for sissies. Yes. And it's a tough environment, and globally, I think, you know, we will adapt. Africans will adapt an awful lot better, I believe, coming through this than we would call first world countries. We're used to challenging times. So that's the first thing I'd like to say. The second thing is that there's much of that as well is outside of your control. Don't worry about things that are, you know, too much out of your control. You know, if there is disparity, helping your own way to alleviate disparity, whatever that means around Christmas time. There are 1,000 ways to do it. And it isn't necessarily about giving money or giving gifts. It's about giving something of yourself. That will make you feel incredibly good. You know, that's just one of the ways. I mean, we know when it comes to health, I mean, if you exercise, we know that 20 minutes even walking changes your chemistry, changes your brain's chemistry. So if you want to change your life, you know, just take the first step. When you exercise, even for as little as 20 minutes, your internal chemistry changes. You've got serotonin, you've got endorphin being released, which leaves you in a very positive space. Your whole body is oxygenated. The greatest pharmacy in the world is between your 2 ears, and you feel more positive for the whole day. So you need to make the first steps. I mean, regardless of, it's, you know, you don't need anybody else. It's great if you can. I mean, I go to classes every week too. I love to give that responsibility over to somebody else to run the class, and I can just follow. But that's great if you can do it. But if you can't, there's an awful lot you can do.
Thank you for that, John. Maja, over to you. We were talking about the most stressed country in the world, and I think Nigeria still tops South Africa, according to Bloomberg. And your 3 tips to reduce stress.
I will statement, yes, Nigeria is a highly stressful environment. I mean, it's an attack on the senses, especially the fact that it's, you know, we've got to have maybe seen the news in the last couple of months. You know, in Nigeria, we had real issues here with protests, mass protests, and ultimately, so a lot of self-care currently is needed. And I 100% agree with John's statement about, you know, the human body, and we have it all within our means to better our own lives. I think from a perspective of self-care, I am very much a practitioner of gratitude. You know, gratitude meaning that we currently live in a situation where suffering from powerlessness. So my ideas of gratitude are about focusing on the things that you can control, and which is essentially yourself and your mind up. 90% is about the way that you react to things, the way that you think about things. So that is your domain of
I'm going to
control.
interrupt.
So
I'm going to interrupt you. You keep on breaking up.
Sure.
Okay. So I don't know what we can do to adjust your speaker.
Oh, okay. Okay. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can hear you now. It's better.
Is that better now? Is it a bit better now?
Yeah, try it.
Okay. Well, I moved I moved my head a little bit. I'm not sure. I think my service seems to be okay though.
Yeah.
Is it still breaking up?
Okay, carry on.
Is it still breaking up?
Yeah, it sounds okay.
I'll just carry on. So yes, I to try to. Okay, still bad. Let me go have a look at my Wi-Fi, make sure that that is not the problem. I don't think it is.
Okay.
I know you can still hear me.
Yeah, we can hear you.
How is that? Is that a bit better?
That sounds better, yes.
I know. I'm so sorry about that.
Okay.
Yes, I just went to adjust the Wi-Fi. Welcome to Nigeria. This is what we have to deal with.
This is Africa.
Okay, so yes. So I was saying that, you know, I try to use gratitude a lot in terms of just being thankful for the things that I have, because so much has been lost, and especially something that we rely on, which is that human connection. We are social beings, social animals, and to have that taken away has been a shift on a global scale that people just were not prepared for. So again, switching back to just being thankful for what you do have. My brother said something to me very important that literally changed my whole life and my whole mindset in a simple sentence. Back in the day when I was trying to launch a fitness facility, I had all these grand ideas, grand plans that I was going to open a multi-million-dollar gym and have Africa. I went to meet the guy who set up the Virgin Active gym at the Radisson Hotel in Cape Town. Had all these conversations, and I went back, and then suddenly I hit the point of the project where I realized that I actually need money, you know, and to do all these things. And I spoke to my brother, and I'm like, I need to do this. I need to do this. He goes, bro, start with what you have, work with what you have in your hands, and build from there. And that changed my whole thinking in terms of always just being thankful for what you have and maximizing that, you know. So with the current situation that we're in, the stressful life that we live, except on what you have, being grateful for what you have and make that work for you rather than focusing on the aspirational things that you're looking to have.
Fabulous, Mate. That's absolutely fabulous. And I think that rightly goes back to using what you've got, appreciating, and that gratitude and self-care all just wraps up to everything. And we can use so many different things that can really support that. So absolutely brilliant. Thank you for that. I now want to just quickly touch on staying active. And if we can go to you, John, on that. We should be active all year round, but I think over the Christmas period, a little bit more necessary than normal, because people tend to eat too much, and not just for the young and energetic, but for the elderly and for those maybe over 50. If you've got some tips and why this is a great anti-ager.
Okay, well, this is one of my favorite topics. Look, I think one's got to have a little bit of perspective on what's actually going on, Celeste. From the age of 25, and I believe it's even earlier now, quite possibly early 20s, much earlier than that, they have identified the aging disease. It's called sarcopenia. And sarcopenia is the gradual loss, 5 to 8% per decade of lean muscle. There are other losses as well that go along with that, such as mobility, etc. But the problem with muscle is that lean muscle consumes 80% of the calories, 80% of the food that you take in. And if you are losing 8 to 10% per decade, by the time you get to 50, you've got 20, 30% or more less lean muscle than what you had. And you're eating the same, if not more. So it's only going to go one direction. So it's very, very important that at all ages that we train, not just walk, but that we do resistance training as well. I'm a very strong believer in that. So some people say, at 50, I'm the same weight as what I was when I was 20. You often hear that. I'm sure, Maggie, you hear the same thing. You may be the same weight, but the composition of that weight is radically different. And there's no need for that to be the case. So again, it depends on, you've got to prioritize resistance training. All training is good, but we do need resistance. Men and women need it for a multiple of reasons, so badly. So we need to do this. We need to do it consistently. It needs to be a priority in our life. There's no getting away from it. But the good news is that you don't have to do it for hours and hours and hours. It can be as little as 20, 25 minutes, 3 to 4 times a week. Broken down in that way, certainly in my philosophy. And that will keep you, it literally and metaphorically is life-changing to build that lean muscle. Growing old is the lack of muscle, the increase of body fat, the lack of mobility, the lack of flexibility. Is all of that reversible? Yes, it is. There are people out there, there's a female trapeze artist, her name doesn't come to me, she's 85 years old. She started only doing trapeze at age 78. And so as we get older, we start stopping doing things. When is the last time you skipped? When is the last time you jumped? When is the last time you did something that was challenging? So we restrict our lives. And we need to change that as you go through. I was always inspired by the eagle. When the eagle is at midlife, its talent is blunt. Its feathers are scruffy, and its beak and its claws are running out. They're running short, and it's got no choice. If it wants to live, it's got to take that beak off, take those talons off, and take those feathers off. And that is extremely uncomfortable. But that is a life or death decision. And we're all making these decisions, and not making a decision is a decision.
Thank you, John.
These are, this is why I feel so passionate about that. Yeah. And there's 1,000 different ways to do it, but it's got to be done. The decision is up to you. Get busy living or get busy dying.
Thanks for that, John. Matja, over to you. I'm going to ask you just quickly about being active, because I've still got a couple more questions for you that we don't want to miss out on. Okay.
I think me and John are just so like-minded. He pretty much says everything that I'm going to say. And this is what I stress. I know a lot of people find when I give talks, they find this aspect of it a bit morbid, but it's very simple. life is not just about survival, but thriving. One thing I find in Nigeria is the average life expectancy is too low. Why is that? Why are we okay with that? Do you not want to live and thrive to an older age? Well, it's all down to the choices that you are making today and every day of your life. The choice to be active is something that is medicinal. It is life-saving. It is required. It is biblical. You know, it's by design. So I urge people who are coping with, you know, stress, inactivity, to just make the simple choice on a day-to-day basis to be more active. The benefits are endless, but on the flip side, what could go wrong and what does go wrong, you know, it escalates as you get older. Look, I'm going to be 50 soon, and in summer I had surgery. Now, nobody out there would see that because it's like I didn't even break stride. But one thing the surgeon told me is that the only reason that you're pulling through this so comfortably is because of your fitness levels. And I hear enough of my peers in my age group who just go for surgery, minor surgery, and don't come back. Too many people are losing their lives based on the lifestyle choices that they have been making. And it is essential. It is not a request. It is essential that you are active. Why go through life not even seeing what the best version of yourself could be like?
I think that's so vital.
Makes no sense to me.
Yeah.
You know, and if you really want to make an impact, yeah.
Absolutely brilliant.
Let me leave you with one thing. I'll leave you with one thing. I'll read you a quote, okay? Humanity, then awaken all of yourself. If you want to eliminate the suffering of the world, then eliminate all that is dark and negative in yourself. Truly, the greatest gift you have to give is that of your own self-transformation.
Thank you for that, Marjay. Really, really powerful words. But I'm going to stay with you because you wrote a really interesting article about eating in 2018 for the Mail and Guardian in Nigeria. And I loved this one. Rolling into New Year, resembling one of the turkeys you ate over the break is what so many people do.
Yeah.
You suddenly changed my whole Christmas menu, I have to tell you. So can you give us 3 of your favorite tips on food for Christmas? Because I think we eat too much.
Oh, absolutely. Portion control is one of the biggest things that anybody can take on. Managing your food portions. I think that a lot of us are very indisciplined. We don't really plan ahead in terms of how we're going to have our food days. We just kind of go with it. I think I think it's important to be mindful, especially going into this festival. We're going to be distancing, but we are still going to be going to the odd Christmas dinner, Christmas, you know, whatever the case may be, there'll be a lot of food. So the point is that be mindful about the way your portions is very important. I see people filling up plates of food because they have cleared their stomachs for this particular party or this particular dinner party. Like, I'm not going to eat today, I'm just going to go. So I think that is a schoolboy error. I think you shouldn't go to a dinner hungry, you know. I think that you should maybe also pay attention to the way you hydrate. People do not hydrate enough. They just don't. No matter what you tell them, they don't. And then they now mix up hunger with being thirsty. So before you tuck into your meal, knock back a glass or 2 of water, you get a more realistic perspective of just how hungry you are so you don't overeat. Being mindful and portion control are my biggest tips to people as we enter the festive season. And staying active, of course. Don't stop. Consistency is everything.
My favorite word is
don't wait until the new year starts.
Yeah. You just mentioned something very, very interesting. Both of you are trainers, and I read something over the weekend where they said, don't wait to start your New Year's resolution on the 1st. rather start a week before the 1st. So I want you two to come up with something, maybe to do a Facebook Live and encourage a little bit of exercise for us. It's maybe something we can discuss afterwards, but it's just something that could be very interesting. You like that, John? Vajay? I think that will be great.
It would be fantastic.
Yeah, that would be sweet. So we'll look forward to those Facebook Lives or those Instagram Lives, because it's 2 of you, and I think Instagram is actually easier for you to really do Christmas well with some support from you. So that'll be fantastic. What I'd like to just ask both of you, are going to get a separate question now, and we're going to go back to John. So Marja, if you can switch your mic off so we don't have any feedback. John, I'm going to give you 2 words: passion or purpose, or both.
Okay. Passion and purpose. I think Picasso said that the purpose of your life is to find your purpose, and when you do, to share it with the world. So I think purpose is more, there's different meanings of the word passion, you know, but for me, I resonate more with purpose, and we all have it, and we all have the passions too, but the purpose is more the fruit, and sometimes the passion can be the flower, and I like to go with the fruit of the tree more than the flower. So it is finding your purpose. Each of us is here to do something. Every single one of us is better than somebody else at something. But we're all born originals. But you know, the world we live in, we're led to believe that you don't have it. You know, listen to this person, listen to that person, eat this, drink that, go here, go there, buy this, buy that. And we need to stop excessively consuming, you know, and start living your own life and start following your own purpose.
Fabulous, John. Thank you for that. Marjay, you get joy versus happiness.
That's an easy one for me. Happiness is everything. And I think that people make happiness something external and reactionary. But my definition of happiness is something that's internal and intentional. It's a decision that you make. You wake up every morning full of gratitude, and you make that decision that I am happy. It doesn't mean you don't struggle. It doesn't mean you don't get upset. It doesn't mean you don't get annoyed. And it doesn't mean you don't feel joy. What it means is that this is my decision. This is my intentional presence to the world. My intentional gift to the world is my own internal happiness. Because I feel like you cannot pour from an empty cup, and B, if you don't stamp your intention on the world, then the world's intention is what will guide you. Just like John just pointed out right now, you know, don't be led. You don't wait to see what happens in the day to decide what mood you're going to be in or what you're going to be. You have to be someone of intent, I think, and that is where real happiness comes from.
Fabulous. Thank you. That's beautiful, Marjay. Mute quickly for me. I want to just quickly read something to you from one of our panelists, from one of our members of the audience. In Kenya, we have managed to have the government register and accept Fitness Professional Association of Kenya under the Ministry of Sports and Culture. John, Marjay, do you have government registered associations, and how can we partner in this space? John?
So are we talking about SWA? Are we talking about?
No, we're talking about fitness. Maybe we can link it up to SWA. I think that would be really great.
That That's certainly one. That's certainly one vehicle.
Yeah.
You know,
Remember,
I'm open.
we are the body. Remember, we are the body. So I think that
Yes.
we can.
Within that body, there's room for you know, Maja and I to do something in line with that. I'm sure. I'm certainly would love to work in that space with Maja. If there's something, if there's a demand that we can fill, let's do it. Absolutely.
Right. I think SWA can be the body that can partner with the National Fitness Association. So we will certainly look into that one. Okay. Right. 3 gold nuggets to support wellness at Christmas. And we're going to go on to Maja for that one.
Okay, 3 nuggets for Christmas. Well, I've given you one already. Gratitude.
Maja, we're losing you.
And okay, I'm sorry. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Can you hear me? Okay.
Yeah.
Again, I'll just say that again. Gratitude, being intentional about your gratitude. Happiness, being intentional about your happiness. Okay. And give. I think it's important to reach out to people, connect with people you care about. In this world right now, it's going to be very tough for a lot of people.
Thank you. Thank you for that, Maja. You're breaking up, so I'm going to swap onto John. Quickly, John, 3 nuggets.
3 nuggets. I think they say in life that pain is inevitable in life. You either choose the pain of discipline or the pain of regret. The pain of discipline weighs ounces. The pain of regret weighs tons. So discipline is a very important one. Have goals, guys. A dream is just a dream. A goal has a plan and a timeline. Okay, huge difference between that. And finally, is to find a community, find your tribe, you know, in whatever that is, if that's in health, if it's in a particular space in health, find your community, because you're more than likely, people get fat together and people get fit together. So find your tribe, find your community. There's my 3: discipline, goals, and community.
Oh, wow. I love that. I really love that. Thank you very much. What will you do different this year, Maja, for Christmas?
What will I do differently for Christmas? I think I've had to sort of dial back on my exercise a little bit. I've apparently been lifting too heavy, so I need to take it down a notch. So I'm going to give more time to reaching out to people. I'm somebody that over the years tend to internalize a little bit and focus by example and reach out to more people during the holidays and connect more. That's what I'll do differently. I don't always do that.
Thank you. We're going to use the SWA platform for you to reach out, and we're all going to exercise with you. We're going to find our tribe so that we can get healthy. I'm looking forward to that. Oh, thank you for that, Maja. John,
Superb,
over to you.
Superb.
Sorry, is it the same question, Celeste?
Yes.
Okay. What am I going to do differently this year? Normally, I even work out on Christmas Day. Normally, I do that. I'll probably do that again on Christmas Day. I think it's to not to be so hard on myself this Christmas. I'm going to be a bit more gentle on myself. Sometimes you've got to go a little bit with the flow, but not excessively. I think I'm going to be a bit more gentle with myself this year. Yeah.
That's really great. I just want to tell you that I'm studying at the moment, and according to the Chinese, I think, John, if you can just mute for 2 seconds because we've got some feedback. In Chinese medicine, they discuss winter and the seasons. And the seasons, the whole aspect of self-acceptance has to do with winter. So you would fit perfectly into the winter season for that self-acceptance. And actually just letting go and accepting what you are. You both mentioned gratitude and giving back, and you give back to so many. You are accountable for your actions, and I think this is what makes SWA such a wonderful family, because we are all accountable for our actions. And Jacqueline has asked, how accountable are we really in life? And I think that I'd like to just answer that. I think that if we don't be accountable for ourselves, we cannot sleep well. If we don't give, we are not going to be happy. If we don't have gratitude, we are not going to be able to manage what we are doing. So I think accountability is really such a big aspect, and ethics all fits in. The last question I'm going to ask you, and we've run out of time, we've literally got 1 minute. If you had one word that could change wellness in Africa, what word would that be that we could do? How could we change wellness to make it affordable for all? What would you actually like to see if you could wave a magic wand? And Maja, I'm starting with you on that one.
I would say, you said one word, I'll say 2 words: free counseling.
Thank you. I think that's brilliant. That's just what we need for mental well-being and to destigmatize mental wellness. Fabulous. John, you.
Oh, okay. I'm going to try and keep it to one word. There's a word in South Africa. Is it called Ubuntu? Isn't it Ubuntu? That philosophy of caring and of holding that space for each other and reaching out across communities in order to be able to do that. I think that's the one word for me. That's an amazing word, and what it stands for, and the spirit of that word transcends, and that's the word I would use. Yeah.
Oh, wow, that's just absolutely beautiful. My heart is full, and I believe, John, if we can just mute, because we've got this awful, sorry about that, everybody. I just want to thank both of you. You've made my year for today. I'm looking forward to seeing you both on the mat, as we say in yoga, so that we can work out here. And thank you for your tips, and thank you for sharing, and for bringing the north part of Africa together with the south part of Africa, and that I was able to actually host you. It's just been an absolute privilege, and I thank Elaine and her team and Faith, who keeps everything going, for just making this possible, and also to all of our people who've attended. Thank you so much for coming together. We wish you a wonderful wellness Christmas, and we wish you wellness in the new year. And we look forward to seeing these 2 fantastic men guiding us to be fit. And thank you both, John and Maja, and you both have one last word to say, or send. Maja, we'll go with you first.
Thank you. Honestly, I really appreciate your time, and I'll just leave you with this: just plant your flag in this world. Be intentional with your vibrations and the energy that you put out into the world. Thank you.
And John?
I'm just going to follow up on what Maja said, but before I do, thank you, Celeste. Thank you for the professionalism and care you put into this. I'm really grateful for all the team who did this behind the scenes, and everybody who's joined, everybody who's taken out time, because there's 100 things we could all be doing, right? We're all so busy. We're all too busy to be involved, but Thank you for those who did. And please share. Share these nuggets, share this advice, and pass it on. Life's like a boomerang. Everything you do and say returns to you with astounding accuracy.
Thank you for that. And to both of you, big hugs.
Thank you,
you.
Maja.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, everyone.
All right, guys. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Okay, thank you,
Stay
everyone.
blessed.
Stay blessed. Bye.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.